Hello, this is J9LP, and welcome to another special installment of my views on E3. And this time we'll be talking about the I'm a Believer conference. I mean, the Sony conference, which has probably made a heck of a lot of us believers in a higher power that has answered down to us and made our hopes and dreams come true, because my gosh, this is the conference of dreams coming true, and indeed dreams. Well, I'll explain more about that in a minute, but might as well just go straight into it and say, well, The Guardian was right, and most of the other people who came up with that particular news. The Last Guardian, that game that was showcased way back in 2007 on the PS3, has now been resurrected and is on the PlayStation 4. Wow, it looks, I mean, in all complete total honesty, because it obviously originated on the PS3, it still looks a little bit rough in places, but it looks just as gorgeous, as a little bit more gorgeous than it did when we first saw it way back when. Like I said before, it's something that, from a company that tends to have its games designed and even the technical aspects kind of way ahead of their time, so it hasn't really lost much of its luster. I mean, there are a few bits of things that you notice, that there's slight aliasing there, and there are a few graphical glitches, which really kind of adds to the atmosphere of it being kind of a really rough sort of thing, just like Eco and to a lesser extent Shadow of the Colossus before it. It gives it that kind of luster. It's still a working game. It seems to be kind of a signature of Fumito Ueda's stuff, that it comes out that way. So that's a thing. That is definitely a thing, and it's something that, you know, it was hinted, but none of us believed it. It was like, yeah, okay, whatever. That is just, it's not going to happen. A lot of us just didn't think it was going to happen, but there it is, and that kicked off the Sony conference, and that was just the start. So actually, I need to add that the release date has just been shown as 2016, which means we're coming next year. But of course, we don't know when at that point, and don't know how much more work is to be done with it, or even needs to be, really. But well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, everyone's own Sony console, or even everyone else who wants a reason to get a PlayStation 4 are looking forward to that and seeing how it comes out. Anyway, like I said, that was just the start. But before that, we got a new game from Guerrilla Games, the developers of the Killzone series, and it looks, well, I mean, I'll give you the name. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn, and, well, the setting is quite interesting. It's kind of almost like a post-apocalyptic future. In the trailer, there was a cave woman with kind of a futuristic gear fighting against a robot Tyrannosaurus type thing. Yes, futuristic cave women and robot dinosaurs. What more do you want in the game? That's all you need for a new IP for, you know, people to be a big fan of. And obviously, it looks the part. It's one of the better looking PlayStation 4 games they've shown in that conference, and yeah, I hope we'll see more details on that game soon. We were then treated to a Street Fighter V trailer, showing a couple of returning characters, Birdie and Cammy. You know, both of them having a special place in my heart because they're both British. It's kind of almost in some sort of an order, isn't it? Since I'm Charlie Nash, was a release representing the good old Eurosharay, and then Bison came along representing Thailand, even though we just know he's just bad, yeah, at the end of the day. And then we got Birdie and Cammy, who, as you know, both originate from Britain. Birdie being a big birdie punk guy with the crazy moustache and mohawk with the chains, telling everyone to go to heaven by slamming him back to the ground to hell or something like that. It's kind of amazing. And Cammy, as you know, ended up being caught by Bison and being used as one of his dolls and as the basis of the one that he created afterwards. But yeah, they're both in the game. I gotta say, I mean, Birdie's look is pretty much based on the one in Street Fighter Alpha, and I was kind of expecting a development on that. I was kind of expecting something a bit more of an enhancement of that, and you know, I already got the pot belly that pretty sure he didn't have before. That seems to have come from earlier. Yeah, Birdie certainly let himself go. You know, too much fish and chips and meat pies or whatever, I don't know, some daft English stereotype bollocks. But yeah, he's obviously grown older, so that's kind of a development there. But apart from that, his design is mostly the same, and I kind of expected a little bit more of an evolution of that, really. But yeah, he still looks really good. Street Fighter 5 is almost shaping up to be a kind of a Street Fighter Alpha 4 might have been. So that's kind of an interesting thing to see, with most of those characters kind of coming back from those games, Charlie and Birdie and all that. And Cammy having quite a few of her moves from that game when she appeared in it in Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold. I'm not saying that those particular moves, because obviously they developed over time, but yeah, it's looking pretty awesome. And before, that's on the PlayStation 4, and hope we'll see more details on that soon. A fairly lovely visual spectacle in Media Molecule's new game, which is another create your own adventure, or rather a create your own game sort of thing, similar in the vein of Little Big Planet, but this one seems to be a lot bigger than that. It takes place in more kind of a 3D environment. It has a number of different art styles, and now you can choose as far as I can see, and it kind of puts me into mind of their version of Project Spark, although I'm pretty sure that might not necessarily be the same thing, because Project Spark is pretty much almost like a one note thing where you can create your own landscapes and characters and stuff. But I think this one seems to have a lot more flexible tools, although I can only infer that from the trailer that they showed. Anyway, this game is called, as I may have mentioned before, or when I started this thing, Dreams. Yeah, that's the name. It's just called Dreams. Well, you know, it's, you know, it kind of goes with the concept really, because essentially you're creating kind of dream worlds with your own sort of different characters, and you know, the sky's the limit. Although I kind of wonder how flexible you can go with it in terms of creating the games with different art styles. You can even mix and match them if you wanted to, or at least that's what it kind of implied in the trailer anyway. So yeah, it looks pretty. We'll have to see what it's actually like and see more details about that game. Then we got something from Square, and it's a Final Fantasy game. And it's a world of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, which seems to be kind of a little sort of open world RPG type thing, almost in the kind of the style of theatre-driven games, with kind of chibi characters and all from different facets of the Final Fantasy series. I don't know if it's actually an MMO or anything like that. It seems to be an RPG, but it might have some online and social elements. That's all I can really work out from there. But it looks, I suppose. You can throw feet over roads of bone. Why the hell not? If not, I'm not anything else from it, it would seem. But it's probably the thing that I did have against the show, that I didn't show much beta stuff, but they seem to be winding down on that anyways. But let's put that aside for the moment, because next came something else that was hinted several times, but we just didn't think was going to happen at all. So the trailer comes up. There's a familiar looking building, then there's a familiar looking train, and it's all shown very kind of a high fidelity graphics, very gritty, very real, still very grey and pipey, just like a certain start of a certain game that people saw last year and were a bit upset about it because it was a PC port of a PlayStation 1 game. As soon as we got further around the town and we found someone with a minigun on an arm walking up the street, followed by a guy with a huge sword, that was it. That's all we needed to see, really. I think most of the people are already really excited at that point, and then, well, just absolutely flabbergasted at the other point when we saw two familiar characters walking down the street, and then followed the words remake, and I think the world imploded. Well, the internet certainly did. I think at that point almost all of the major news things that were actually showing this, their servers just must have just died a death. I know I was watching a YouTube stream and the chat was actually disabled. That was, again, that wasn't even the biggest surprise in the show. The Final Fantasy VII Remake that was being hinted wasn't showing any kind of gameplay footage or anything like that, just a trailer, but that was enough to get a heck of a lot of people excited. I said it was announced first for PlayStation 4, so that pretty much gives hope for a PC version. And maybe an Xbox One version? I don't know. I don't know if that's happening considering certain things. But yeah, I think a lot of people are obviously really excited for that. The actual remake, not the crappy PC port. Yeah, we are looking forward to that. Anyway, like I said, that wasn't the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise followed this straight away when Yu Suzuki, along with a trailer, at last, 15 years after the first installment, about 13-12 years after the last iteration, Shenmue 3. Wow. Just wow. At that point, if it wasn't enough clues already, I mean, after the Last Guardian at that point was where everyone thought, oh wow, Sony's won E3, but the announcements that followed it, didn't just knock it out of the park, they knocked it out of town and into the stratosphere. Yeah, so Shenmue 3 is going to be a Kickstarter project. This is something that is going to be crowd-funded, and well, it's gonna. If you think of that, it's gonna happen at this point. It really is. I mean, Bloodstained didn't take long to fulfill its pledge, and if I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere that the game has been funded already. But yeah, I'd keep it coming because I'm pretty sure there's going to be more exciting news about that game. Looking at it at the moment, obviously it needs work. You know, they tend to, when they show things early, but it's just the fact that it exists. It's out there, it's being worked on, it's being done. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. We are living in interesting times, most certainly, and all from the Sony conference. Wow. Anyways, so with that, I've got to be honest, I was so taken aback by this. I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm backing it. And I think I'd advise all you guys to do it now. I've got the link in the description. Pledge now. Do it. Fly, you fools. Fly. Then Andrew House came on the screen and talked a little bit more about Morpheus. And he put forward an interesting thing about the multiplayer experience from Morpheus, which is basically you can play with your family and friends all in the same room holding DualShock 4 controllers, which to me I thought, you know, great that you can do that, but it's the thing that you're holding a traditional controller when most of the other kind of VR competitors in the field, from Oculus to HTC Valve and so on and such, are all sort of touting kind of new innovative controllers that actually have more functionality built for VR than anything else. So for me, the unit itself looks really cool. I think it's the best looking of the three, in all honesty. Sony does have a pretty damn good hand on product design, and the actual unit itself isn't so bad either in terms of performance. I did show a game in all complete. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it because I was kind of flabbergasted by the fact that they're putting these traditional controllers on something so advanced. But it looks alright, and that's something that I'll probably look into later on. Okay, after that they showed something about Spotify, and then I talked about the PS Vue TV services and that. Honestly, that's kind of when I left the room because I wasn't really interested in all that kind of stuff. They did say something about that you can essentially have native multi-rooms, so that's a good thing. Okay, that's fine, cool. Then the Black Ops 3 was shown, and well, this title is being released not just for the current gen platforms and PC, it's also being released from the last gen platforms as well, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And from what I could see in the gameplay trailer, it shows quite a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a heck of a lot going on screen in terms of kind of physics and particle effects and that, but the overall look of it, I kind of found it hasn't really advanced from even way back when the first Black Ops came out. So it seems, you know, it just seems to be they're taking certain stuff from Advanced Warfare and putting into Black Ops 3 and stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have that much of an interest in Call of Duty. They did actually show multiplayer co-op in the campaign. That's alright. And is it a timed exclusive? Well, this kind of represents a first in the sense that before, most of the Call of Duty games that came out got exclusive content for Microsoft consoles first. This seems to be a significant step that this time you'll get it first for the Sony platforms, and it's sort of a partnership between Sony and Activision. So yeah, oh my god, Sony's killing it there, and Activision are obviously, well, as they always usually are, after they can get the most cash. So it stands to reason, really. Then we saw some interesting Disney Infinity 3 footage, mostly centered around Star Wars, since Star Wars is now going to be a big part of Disney. So we got some interesting stuff in there, that there are actually some characters from the Clone Wars series, and also an interesting playset that sort of covers that and stuff from episode 4 to 6. After that, we saw Star Wars Battlefront footage from the new EA game. Looks absolutely mind-blowing. It really does. Just looks, the work that has gone into the environments and the vehicles in that game is just unbelievable. Let's just hope the game actually turns out to be pretty good as well. I mean, well, obviously we're putting our trust in EA here, so it's kind of will it even work? It's just that sort of a thing. I know I suppose I kind of have a kind of a bias against EA in that sense, given what they've done. But yeah, I really hope they don't let us down in that area. I think they said they was going to have offline play, so that's at least something. But yeah, that looks great. Absolutely great, in fact. And then they rounded the entire conference off with a gameplay demo of Uncharted 4, which looks phenomenal, although it did kind of show that it was a live conference at that point when the intro was played and afterwards Drake was just standing there for like a whole minute to not doing anything, and it was like, okay, that's his idle animation. No. They had to restart the demo, but they essentially took us on this roller coaster ride where Drake and Sully, or not just call him Nathan really, but yeah, they were essentially being chased by a bunch of terrorists, and they then took us on this ride on a jeep, being chased by a kind of assault vehicle with a pretty hefty machine gun. And yeah, that was kind of mind-blowing, just the amount of stuff that was going on in that ride, and dialogue, the obviously cheesy dialogue that they had going on there, and just everything was just, absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. In terms of the look of the game, it looks like Uncharted, really. Obviously, there's a lot more going on in terms of physics and some effects and stuff like that, due to the power of the PlayStation 4, of course. But it looks just as you'd expect it to look, really. Naughty Dog did a pretty good job with the art direction on the first 3 games, or definitely the 3rd game anyway. And they haven't made a huge leap, I would say, on the 4th one. They obviously revamped pretty much most of the characters in there and certain other stuff, so it's an upgrade, obviously, because that's what you'd expect, but it's still very much Uncharted, which can only be a good thing, really. And then it ended, and wow, I think most of us were just left gobsmacked. After our jaws kind of dislocated from seeing The Last Guardian, it then hit the floor after seeing Final Fantasy VII was actually getting a proper remake, and then afterwards, when essentially half of our bodies kind of left mortal coil into the stratosphere, praising the Lord that Shenmue 3 is actually coming. My God, there. I think you can safely say, yeah, how can you follow that up? How can you follow that up? It's great. It's had its low points. I'm not going to say it's perfect. That's one thing I'm not going to say. But those were things that I just typically kind of walked away from. Apart from that, though, it was all about the games. And that's one of the main things they concentrated on. I didn't go on about Morpheus in a big way, gave a little time to the other services, but it was all about the games. And what games? Okay, so that's all I have to say about that, which is a heck of a lot. My gosh, I actually managed to fit it all in that amount of time. Kind of surprising for me, I must say. But if you'd like to put your views on that news, that conference in the comments, even if it's just wow, that's all you need to say really. I don't mind at all. But if you'd like to put the views on that, or your views on my views, if that's how that works, then feel free to do so in the comments. Until the next conference, thanks for watching, you've been awesome, and keep on playing, folks.